Yeah, so we started this new segment in the last webinar. Instead of having a larger tip of the week presentation on one specific topic, we figured it might be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more engaging, just to share a few quick tips, some individual settings or features that might often be overlooked in the platform. So this week, we've got 3 BD quick tips here requiring complete member profiles, available billing countries, and the maximum subcategories that members can select. So we have a couple quick tips here regarding member profiles themselves and their listings, and then one having to do more on the finance side of things, on the billing side of things here. So diving right into the first one, requiring complete profiles. We've addressed this a few times in the past, specifically in some of the Q&A segments. I don't believe we've ever had kind of a dedicated slide or information regarding this. It really is a very useful feature, one that is often overlooked in the platform. What it does is it ensures that only complete member profiles are displayed on the front end of your website in the member search results. So this, why would you actually want to do this? In some cases, when a new member registers on your website, and especially if you auto approve new members, they might not complete their profile initially. It might take them a day or two, or maybe a week before they have time to go in there and add all their information. In the meantime, you don't necessarily want to display their listing within your search results if there's no real useful information there yet. So overall, it really does help to improve the just general search quality and your website's credibility by enhancing the user experience by only showing them completed member profiles. Again, getting rid of those incomplete profiles that might not have any information or any real useful information yet. So overall, it just really helps to maintain a professional and trustworthy directory. There's two components to this feature. The first one is just the on-off toggle. It's within your website's general settings. There's the require complete profiles. You can just enable that individual setting. And then the default fields that are required to be filled out in order for a member's listing to display in the search results page, if this setting is enabled, are their name, their category, having a profile photo or a logo uploaded, and then also their address. So those are the default required fields in order for the listings to be displayed in search results, but you can customize which of those fields are required through an advanced setting called complete profile field. So there's just one on-off toggle, and then if you want to tweak it a little bit, you can go check out that advanced setting. But that's really all there is to this specific feature here.
Yeah, this is a great slide just for the, for covering this. Let's actually take a look at it, and I'm going to give you guys an extra tip when you are requiring complete profiles. I think it's a great idea because it kind of puts the user to work to kind of work for their listing just a little bit, especially if it's a directory of, professionals or businesses. If it's just a private member community or chat board, it's probably not as important. But again, if it's a business listing or some type of industry focused website, having those complete profiles not only helps your website look good, but gets the user involved in the process and to show that they care about the sign up that they just did. So let's go to the admin area together here. And where the setting is in your settings, general settings. Actually, let's go. This is a test site that we have, but let's go to the search results page for this site and let's see how many members there are. We're still in Japanese here. Let's keep it in Japanese for a second. That'll be fun. There we go. So it looks like there's 848 results right now. So if we go to the general settings, search settings, require complete profiles is set to no. So basically anyone who just signs up is going to show in the search results, whether they've added a profile photo, an address, anything. Let's set this to yes. And let's save the changes. I don't know how much it's going to change by, but right now we have 848. Let's refresh the page. So it went down to 497. So about 300 or 400 members didn't have the quote unquote required fields completed. And there is a link here that says view settings, because as David mentioned, you can decide and dictate which fields are required. Now, before I click this link, let me share this article here. We have it in the support center, how the required complete profile works, kind of what we're covering now. I'll drop this in the comments here. Now let me click on the link here. Oops. Here we go, view settings, and it's going to take us to directly to the advanced setting that David mentioned. And here we could see this is the complete profile fields. Now, basically, it's a comma separated list of the variables or the values that we want to have required. So right now, the company name is required, the first name, the file name. The file is the logo image. Let me zoom in a bit here. And the profession ID is the top level category. And what's really good about in this article is we do cover these system names here that you should put in that comma separated list. Scroll down here. Here we go. So the bold is it here. So these are kind of the default ones. Service is that they have to choose subcategories. But let's remove profile photo or the file one from that list and save the changes. And let's see if it goes up higher from the 497. Now probably get somewhere in between that 800 number. Oh, so back to 848. So everyone else has all the other information. And what's cool is you can actually add other things here. If you're not too familiar with it, if you go to the form manager, and yeah, this is it. So if you customize or look at the listing contact details, the listing form. So if we look at listings, there are a few of them here. Listings about, additional details. If we come here, we want to grab the system names, the database variable names for some of these. So we can do listing type. That's where they choose if they're a company or an individual. And things like that. I won't go too much. A last name. So if we wanted to make a last name required, I'll just add that to the end here and save it as an example. But that's how you can find out the system names to add to this. And for every site, it might be different. So this went lower. So most people are all companies. And now that I've put last name, it went down to 6 because there was no last name inputted for these people. It was more company names. So that's a little bit how that works. And yeah, that article that we shared also has some good information for you guys as well.
Yeah, great setting there. A real easy, simple one just to make your search results look just a little bit more polished.
Oh, sorry, I did forget one more thing I wanted to share about that. Kind of like a bonus tip. If we go to the Brilliant Directories website, to the blog, the most important thing if you're using that setting is to educate your members that, hey, you need to complete these fields in order for your listing to go live or to be visible or searchable on our site. So we do have a video that we did previously, a tip of the week, David and I, on onboarding new members with a welcome plan. And really in this video, we talk about how in the welcome email where we greet our new signups, educating them on how they can get the most out of our site and what the next steps are also in their setup process after they do the initial registering with their email address. So I'm going to share this video in the comments too. But this is really great. Even if you're not doing required complete profiles, this welcome email is kind of your first greeting to new members. And you want to educate them on how they can get the most out of your website, what the next steps are, what actions you want them to take. If it's a classifieds website, post your first classified. Give them some context and direction on how to utilize and get the most from your site. And this video here that we just shared the link of really covers that well.
Great tips there. I think giving them some easy W's right off the bat by giving them some clear instructions on what next to do with their profiles is a great tip there. Moving on to the second BD quick tip here, available billing countries. So with this, you can actually choose which countries will appear in the drop-down list as billing options when a prospective member is on one of your checkout pages. They're putting in their credit card information because they're going to be paying for one of your membership plans, for instance. So with this, you can restrict payments in essence to specific countries, and you can also prioritize frequently used countries at checkout. So you you can kind of quote unquote feature countries within this list, add them to the top just to make them more easily accessible so that users don't have to scroll through maybe a long list of countries to find theirs if you have a lot of users within a particular country. And so overall with this, you can really tailor your checkout pages to your specific target markets. One important thing to keep in mind with this, however, is if you're in an area, say maybe Europe, where you have a lot of countries that are your target markets for your website, you might have individuals registering for your website. Say it might be targeted only for one country, but they might live in a neighboring country not far away. You don't necessarily want to exclude them from being able to join your website if you don't have their country listed here as one of those billing options. So just something to keep in mind, probably more of a rare instance in that case. But with this, we got a lot of questions about how can I make sure that only people from my target country are registering on my website when the website's only focused on one specific country. It's a little difficult to do that with a website on the internet, but this is one of the tools you can use kind of in your tool belt to more specifically focus on your individual target countries if you only have a handful of those for your website. And with this, again, it's a really simple option here. You just go to your finance settings, payment gateways, and then there's an additional settings drop down. And within that drop down is the billing address countries. And from there, you can set individual countries to active, not active, or again, featured if you want to kind of move them to the top of the drop down list. If you say don't want to remove any countries from there, but if your target audience is in the United States, maybe you put the United States as the first option in that list.
Yeah, let me show an example here. That was a great explanation. Thank you. So if you're on the checkout page of your site, signing up for a membership plan, and the user has to input their billing address. So this is the country selection here. Normally by default, I think it starts with the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand at the top, the United Kingdom as well, and then all the other countries below it, which is pretty standard. But again, there are cases where you might only be accepting payments from a specific country. That could be a legal thing or the way your business is set up. Or you might want to keep all the countries and just prioritize your primary country at the top there. So let me show you a few examples of how this works here. First, we only see 4 here right now. Let's add a new country in here. I'll just choose one randomly. Bahamas are fun. We all want to go there for vacationing. So let's just set that to active and save the changes. And if we refresh this page here, we should see Bahamas on the list. Oh, we're back to Japanese here. That's right. All right, I'll switch it back to English. So we see actually in alphabetical order, Australia, Bahamas, United Kingdom. These are active, but they're not featured. The 2 featured countries are New Zealand and the United States. So let's say that my main country is New Zealand. That's where our business is located. That's where the primary marketing efforts go, is in New Zealand for those members. Let's actually remove United States as a quote unquote featured country here. So we'll just look for United States. Right now it's set to featured, and then we'll set it to just active, but not featured. And when you do this, it just puts them in alphabetical order, whether they're featured or active. And that's basically how it works. So now New Zealand's at the top there. So if your primary country is New Zealand, it's there. And then you have all the other countries listed here as well. So again, great way to prioritize your country at the top there. Maybe you didn't know you could do this, and maybe you're in Italy or France or wherever it might be, South Africa. You can prioritize your country at the top in this billing information here. Let's switch it back to English. Japanese kind of throwing me off. It's always fun to see the translation though. There. Give me one moment here. And all right, we'll switch back to English. All right, let's keep things moving along here with quick tip number 3.
Excellent. Loving these rapid fire tips here. So the last one here for the week, max subcategories that members can select. So this is a little bit of a niche case here, potentially. Maybe not everybody would need to use this feature here, but you can actually limit how many subcategories your members can be listed in. So why might you want to restrict your members in selecting how many subcategories they can choose? Well, this might be a monetization option that you want to go down. down. You can create tiered membership plans, which have different category limits. So maybe your free plan or your lower tiered premium plan, members in there are limited to only being able to select, say, 2 subcategories to be listed in, but your more premium members, they can be listed in up to 10 subcategories or an unlimited number of subcategories. So you can create an incentive there for members to upgrade to your more premium plans. You can also encourage members to focus more on their specific niches, their specific specialties. Sometimes, not in all cases, but sometimes members just want to get as much visibility as possible on the website. And so they think that a way to do that would be just to simply be listed in every subcategory, even if it might not necessarily be applicable to their specific specialty. So in this way, if you're limiting them to a specific number, they're kind of forced to choose the subcategories that best represent their specialty, niche, industry, etc. And so by doing this, you can prevent the category overuse for more relevant listings. Again, that's not going to happen in every case, but if you see that might be happening on your website, this might be a feature that you might want to explore. And it's a really simple one. It's a membership plan setting. So again, this is set on a per membership plan basis. So you would just go into finance and membership plans. You would select the membership plan that you want to edit. And then within search visibility, you'll find the maximum sub-level categories members can select option in there. And then you have a few options for what you can put in there. You can just put a number. So if you only want members to select up to 5 subcategories, you would just enter 5, or you could enter 0 if you don't want them to be able to select any subcategories. You can also enter the word all, ALL. That will auto list the members in that membership plan into all of the available sub-level categories, or you can type in unlimited. That will still leave the choice up to the members to choose which subcategories to be listed in, but they won't be limited to a specific number. They can choose however many they want.
This is great. And you really hit the nail on the head. Guys, this one is really all about monetization for you guys. It's about creating tiered levels, because being listed in more categories gives the member or the business more visibility on your site. And I think what we also should explain what a subcategory is. We actually have a good thing I can share with you guys here, just to give you a visualization of what a subcategory is. Also, if you don't know about this, in our resources tab on our Brilliant Directory site, we do have a top 100 category import list. So, if you're doing an automotive site, these are general categories for these industries, 100 categories for each. But I'm going to share this link here, and then let's actually take a look at one together. I put that in the comments there for everyone. Let's take a look at the first one here, automotive services directory. Let's look at the preview. So in this case, the top level category is automotive services. So a business joins your site and they select that they do automotive services. And then once they select their top level category, then they can select their sub and sub level category. So, well, do they do auto repair? What kind of auto repair do they do? Auto detailing, auto glass, auto parts. So one thing David mentioned is you want your members to choose not every category, not just go click, 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 and just want to be found for their own self-serving purposes. You want them to actually be mindful about the categories they're selecting, so it does align with their services and they're not kind of just abusing the fact that they could be listed in every category. So that's when you would select, like, with a free plan, you could be listed in 5 sub-level categories. With a higher tiered plan paying, whatever amount per month, you could select 20 sub-level categories. And maybe for $50 a month, you can do a category takeover where you can just be listed in all the categories. And that's, as David said, that's where you would, for that membership plan, you could select all in this setting. And I'll show you where the setting is as well. So the member doesn't even have to bother selecting any sub-level categories. They just choose their top level category, like automotive or finance, and they'll automatically have visibility in all these subcategories. I call that a category takeover. When it's all, they get full exposure in all the sub-level categories, sub and sub level, as we can see here, top, sub level. So let's look at the setting in the admin area. This is a membership plan setting. So again, for higher tiered plans, you can provide them with higher numbers of subcategories they can select. Let's just go ahead and edit a plan here. I'll show you where this is. When you're editing a membership plan, this is related to visibility. So it's in the search visibility tab. And everyone has this. Over here, we see max sub-level categories members can select. So if there's a number here like 5, they can choose 0 to 5 sub-level categories. Maybe they just want to be listed in 2 or 3, but they can choose up to 5. If you put 0, they would not be able to choose any sub-level categories. They would just be listed in their top-level category, but not found for any specific searches, more granular searches. Now, the fun one here, I'm going to zoom in a bit on the browser here because there is help text here. So if you put all, as soon as they select their top-level category, they're automatically going to be found and searchable in all the available, when they select their top level category, they're going to be available to be found in all these sub-level categories. There's no need for them to take any additional action. It's already taken care of for them. Again, I call this just a category takeover. And again, you can monetize this, guys. It's a really good idea. The right terminology is, be listed in X number of categories on our site. So a lower tiered member get listed in up to 5 categories, higher tiered member get listed in up to 20 categories, and so on. Now, the unlimited one is a little different than the all one. The all one automatically assigns them to every sub-level category. There's no additional work needed. The unlimited one sets no cap on how many they can choose. So if you have 100 sub-level categories, the user can choose from 0 to 100 of the categories they want to be listed in. Basically, it's unrestricted limit for them, up to the available amount of subcategories. So there's unlimited, where the user can choose however many they want without the number restriction. There's all, which automatically assigns them to all the sub-level categories under that top level category. There's a number, 1 through whatever, that's the max they can select. And then there's 0. So again, this is a great monetization tool, especially for business directories. If you're industry focused, maybe you're an attorney directory, and then the subcategories are the specializations of the attorney. And of course, they want more visibility for all the different services or areas of law that their firm might cover. So they would want more sub-level categories to list in. You can just tell them to list in more categories as the terminology there. I think that covers it pretty well. I don't think we have to go into any specific examples there. I think we had an article to share on that. Let me see here. How to select categories as a member. This is a good one about choosing your top and sub-level categories. I'll share this in here. And there was one more on this topic. How to place, this is a good one. How to place the top and sub-level categories on one form. So when you're signing up as a member, this is a little more technical. We don't need to get into it too much, but in the first tab, they put their name, their company, their phone number, and there is a best describes you field. That is actually them selecting their top level category. And then they do their profile photo. And then on the next additional details tab, they're choosing their sub-level category. So it kind of separates the process. They first choose their top level category and then see their sub-level category. But this article shows you how to put them stacked on top of each other if you want to make that into a seamless workflow. I think that's all I had on those ones. I think anything else we should cover on this one, David?
I think that covers it. And I think that second support document you shared about putting them all on one form, if you're a little more tech savvy, you want to take on a little bit of a project, I think that's a great one as well, just to kind of make the user flow a little bit better so that when they're selecting their top category and their subcategory, it's all in one place right in front of them there.